Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, 11's Blitz, and in today's video, we'll be talking about World of Tanks 2.0. The reason why is because Tier 11s were just added into World of Tanks PC. A lot of Tier 11s, like 15 of them. Every single nation basically got one or two, maybe even three Tier 11 vehicles. And it's obviously the biggest update that's ever happened in World of Tanks PC. For many, many years, the PC player base had been, saying, oh, Tier 11s are going to come into the game. Even Wargaming themselves teased it years ago, like 5-6 years ago. But it never happened. It never happened until today. Now, it's fairly obvious the reason they added Tier 11s was because of the diminishing popularity of their game. They wanted to spice it up, because not only that, but they also made it so that every new player can get 2 free Tier 10 tech trees, fully researched, unlocked in their garage, and they made it so players like myself get 15,000 bonds and a free Tier 10. So they clearly are trying to have a huge amount of players try out their game and everything like that. I still don't think it's going to work. I really don't. I think the major problems with PC still exist. The game on its core fundamentals are still weak. And what do I mean? Well, I think the crew system still sucks on PC. The fact that you have to train each individual crew member is awful. As a new player, none of them are going to understand how to, properly equip a crew. What is the best way to do that? It's terrible. It needs to be like the Blitz system, where you have a universal crew skill. That way, every single player doesn't have to worry about equipping crew. The gold spamming problem is still absolutely, a huge issue on PC, and it's even more of an issue now with Tier 11s because you can't literally pen them. You just can't pen the Tier 11s, so you have to load gold to pen them, which then creates a further skill gap where players that have credits, that play the game a lot, that spend money on the game, have the ability to spam gold, where players that don't are just left behind. And that's without even mentioning, all the other field mods and everything else. World of Tanks PC is still plagued by many issues, and I'm not going to sit here and say it isn't. I think that the update, while it is very cool, is eventually going to fade off its gimmicks and probably not help the game too much. If Wargaming wants World of Tanks PC to grow, they need to make the game simpler. They need to make the experience tree much less grindy, and the game just much less pay to win, much less spam premium ammo. But we're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about Blitz and what exactly is going to happen with Tier 11s and Blitz. I'm actually pretty confident Tier 11s are going to come into the game, and I think that this big World of Tanks 2.0 update is kind of that big, final key piece of the puzzle that solidifies it, in my opinion. Why? What exactly do I think is aligning all the dots? Well, first of all, we already know that Reforged is coming to World of Tanks Blitz, and Reforged is supposed to be the biggest update ever, and it's not a coinky-dink that Reforged and 2.0 for World of Tanks PC are happening at similar times. Oh, my game crashed. It's just not a coincidence. It's very, very obvious to me that Reforged is Wargaming's big hurrah for Blitz, and World of Tanks 2.0 is Wargaming's big hurrah for World of Tanks. It's not a shocker. Both of the games are seeing less and less players every year, and I don't think it's because the games themselves have problems. I think it's because Wargaming lacks to understand what would get new players. So with Reforged, they're trying to make the game more appealing towards a younger audience. And they tried to make their crew system simpler, and they're trying to remove tiers 1 through 3. And it makes sense when you think about it. They're trying to have newer players come into the game, but they also need to make it so that experienced and skilled players also continue playing World of Tanks Blitz. So with those two things in mind, that's really what Reforged is. That's what World of Tanks 2.0 is. So with Reforged, we already know that Wargaming's doing a lot of things when it comes to trying to, fix the low tiers. They're trying to appeal to us by reworking it. And here's the thing, right? It really caught my attention when Wargaming originally was planning to have Tier 7 as the new Tier 10. If you remember, when the first trailer was released and we had the first information, all Tier 10s were moved down to Tier 7. Now, that was because Wargaming removed Tiers 1 through 3. But it really stood out to me as weird that we were looking at Tier 7 as the ultimate tier. So if you want my opinion, I think that Wargaming is planning on adding Tier 11s. I don't know when, but I do think that it is an ongoing project that will eventually be added into Blitz, because why else are they trying to make Tier 10, Tier 7? It just makes sense to me that they wanted to have a Tier 8, maybe even a Tier 9 and 10, and add more modern tanks into the game the higher the tiers you go. And I don't think it's a terrible idea. It would obviously be a huge venture, But I think that's possibly what they were going for with lowering the tiers and then leaving room for higher tier vehicles to enter the game at the same time. That's how I see it. Is that going to be a reality? I don't know. But I am pretty confident that at some point, maybe it's 10 years down the road, I don't know when, but I'm very confident at some point we will see tier 11s enter Blitz. I'm very confident in that. Will it be the same tier 11s that exist on PC, like the Trash and Rate, the Tash and Rate, that's like the tier 11 mouse. There's the BZ79, which I made a video on earlier today. We have the KR71. I don't remember all the names. I really don't, but are we going to get the same ones from PC? I have no clue. Wargaming usually tries to differentiate themselves when it comes to Blitz to PC, but we've been seeing a bit of a different shift there as well. If you guys are well aware, the Błyskawica, which is the new tier 10 Polish line, the whole mechanic is the exact same mechanic on PC. Right? The closer you are, the more damage you deal. The further you are away, the less damage you deal. It is verbatim the exact same mechanic from PC. This is the first time Wargaming has ever copied a mechanic from PC. Now, this could mean two different things. The first thing is that, because of the split with Lesta, Wargaming might be working closer with Blitz and the PC team to make more uniform updates, and it's easier for them to grab tanks from PC and throw them in the Blitz. That's the first possibility. That might be why they use the same mechanic. The second possibility is that they just aren't doing as well as they used to, so they're combining ideas instead of making new things. Either way, one of those could be correct, but the point being, it's very possible that the tier 11s that are entering World of Tanks PC could also be possibly entering Blitz at some point in the future, and I kind of hope they do and don't at the same time. I hope that Wargaming balances them out properly. The problem with the tier 11s in PC right now is you have to spam gold to pen them, and spamming gold means that you're literally hemorrhaging credits. But the PC gold problem is a lot worse than Blitz, so I still think that there's hope. I still think that Wargaming can do this right on Blitz. I've always considered Blitz to be way better balanced than PC, even though we do have some goofy, mechanics like reactive armor, tracer shells, and all of this stuff. Well, actually, World of Tanks 2.0 also kind of added those mechanics. The new tier 11 German Light basically features the tracer shells that we have in Blitz. And there's a lot of mechanics that are on PC now that are entirely unique, like the UDES ability to gain more DPM when in a siege mode and all these other mechanics. So, I don't know. I'm interested to see what happens. I am excited for the future of Blitz, actually. I think Wargaming's been doing a decent job of balancing tanks recently, and I hope that they continue to do that when it comes to the future of balancing. I mean, obviously the Air Concept 1 is incredibly overpowered, but it's not overpowered to the point where I can't fight them, mainly because of the fact most of the people that drive that tank suck. But you guys can let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think tier 11s are coming into the game? What do you think? I think there's a pretty solid chance. Also, watch the shot, dude. Look at this. What is that? Wargaming really wanted me to lose this game. Like, that was crazy. But I do think that there is a 70 to 80% chance tier 11s are coming into the game. Wargaming will never confirm it, just like they never confirmed the Type 5 was ever going to come into the game until they just randomly decided they wanted more money. Don't know. But what I do know is that there's a pretty high likelihood that they'll be coming into the game. So whether that's something you're excited for or disappointed for, you can let me know in the comments. Either way, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.